This Gulf system just stopped moving. Zero forward speed, confirmed in the latest advisory today. Harvey, 2017, stalled the exact same way before dropping 60 inches over Houston in just 4 days. And 5 states are now under official NHC monitoring, with watches required within just 48 hours. National Hurricane Center Advisory 1 confirms Tropical Depression 2 is stationary over the Gulf. Sustained winds of 30 miles per hour and minimum pressure of 1,011 millibars make this an official tropical system. Air Force hurricane hunters are already wheels up to investigate this system's structure later today. Comment your city and state below so we can pin your exact flood risk zone through Friday's landfall. Stick around because 5 states have less than 48 hours to prepare before the first watches drop. Walk with us through every piece of official NHC Advisory 1 and what it means for your community. First, why zero forward speed is the single most dangerous characteristic of a Gulf tropical system. NHC 5-day track goes from 30 miles per hour today all the way to 60 miles per hour by Wednesday afternoon local. After that city-by-city wind arrival timing from Panama City through Mobile, New Orleans, and Beaumont, then the severe weather and 105-degree heat wave that are stacking on top of the tropical threat. And we wrap with 3 things you need to do before Monday morning to protect your family tonight. Zero forward speed means the storm center sits over the same location for hours instead of moving. When a tropical system stalls, every hour of rain falls on the exact same streets and neighborhoods. Harvey stalled over Houston in August 2017 and produced 60 inches of rain in just 4 straight days. That 60-inch total is the all-time United States rainfall record for a single tropical system event. Houston neighborhoods that never flooded in 50 years went underwater because of that single stall. Tropical Depression 2 does not need to match Harvey. Even 8 inches in 12 hours is catastrophic. New Orleans' maximum pump station capacity is roughly 1 inch of rainfall per hour at full operation. Anything above 1 inch per hour means floodwater rises faster than the city can push it back out. Mobile, Alabama has similar drainage limitations with low-lying bayou neighborhoods prone to flooding. Beaumont, Texas sits in a historically flood-prone zone where previous tropical systems caused billions. Beaumont received 26 inches of rain from a tropical system in 2001, forcing 50,000 residents to evacuate. Corpus Christi and Port Arthur are also watching the western portion of the official 5-day track cone. Jackson, Mississippi is 100 miles inland, but shows up in the active orange flood watch zone already. Tropical moisture pumps heavy rainfall 100 to 200 miles inland, regardless of where the center lands. Nashville, Memphis, and Birmingham may all receive 2 to 4 inches of outer band rainfall this period. Comment your Gulf Coast city right now so we can build your personalized flood risk timeline today. NHC Discussion 1 was issued at 10 a.m. Central Time, Sunday, July 19th, 2026, from Miami, Florida, officially. Center location was fixed at 28.0 north, 85.3 west in the northeastern Gulf of America today. Convective activity near the center remains patchy due to dry air intrusions from the northeast side. Despite patchy convection, there is enough persistent activity near the center to justify this system. Circulation is described as sprawling and still weak, with initial intensity set at 25 knots maximum. A 25-knot initial intensity translates to maximum sustained winds of approximately 30 miles per hour. Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters are scheduled to investigate this system later today, Sunday evening. Their reconnaissance data will dramatically sharpen the intensity and track forecasts for Advisory 2. Motion is initially described as north-northwestward at 3 knots, but latest data now shows stationary. Weak steering currents from 3 competing pressure systems explain the near-zero forward motion today. A ridge over the western Atlantic and another ridge over the south-central U.S. are both in play. A trough over the northeastern U.S. creates a 3-system block, keeping this thing locked in place today. That blocked pattern allows slow north-northwestward drift, reaching the Florida Panhandle by Monday, 8 p.m. By Tuesday, the system should be close enough to the Panhandle to bring tropical storm conditions onshore. After passing the Panhandle, a west or west-northwest turn becomes the most likely scenario going forward. That turn happens as the southern U.S. ridge builds eastward, pushing the system toward Louisiana, Texas. NHC puts track confidence in the lowest 20% given uncertainty about land interaction timing. Sprawling nature of the system plus nearby dry air and northeast wind shear are slowing strengthening. Despite those limiting factors, the system is expected to become a tropical storm near the Panhandle. Once it turns westward, strengthening should accelerate depending on how far offshore the center remains. At initialization, Sunday center was at 28.0 north, 85.3 west, with 25 knots and 30 miles per hour winds officially. By 12 hours Sunday midnight, the system reaches 28.2 north, with 30 knots and 35 miles per hour officially. By 24 hours Monday noon, the system reaches 28.5 north, with 35 knots and 40 miles per hour intensity. At 36 hours Tuesday midnight, winds climb to 40 knots and 45 miles per hour as the system gradually organizes. At 48 hours Tuesday noon, the system holds at 40 knots and 45 miles per hour near the Panhandle zone. At 60 hours Wednesday midnight, winds climb to 45 knots and 50 miles per hour approaching the Alabama coast. At 72 hours Wednesday noon, the system reaches its peak intensity of 50 knots and 60 miles per hour officially. That Wednesday 1 p.m. peak of 60 miles per hour is aimed squarely at the Mobile, Alabama coastal corridor today. At 96 hours Thursday noon, winds hold at 50 knots and 60 miles per hour near the Louisiana-Texas border. That Thursday 1 p.m. peak of 60 miles per hour is aimed directly at New Orleans and the Louisiana coast. At 120 hours Friday noon, the system weakens to 45 knots and 50 miles per hour, pushing inland near Beaumont. NHC 120-hour track points directly at Beaumont, Texas, making southeast Texas the final impact zone. That means Beaumont, Port Arthur, Galveston, and Houston face a significant Friday impact window approaching. Comment your Gulf Coast city and tell us which day of this 5-day track concerns you the most. Prepare now for the full 5-day period because this system will be slow and persistent through Friday. NHC published 3 official key messages in Advisory 1 that every Gulf Coast family needs right now. Key Message 1, Tropical Depression 2, is expected to gradually strengthen toward the Florida Panhandle. A tropical storm watch is already in place for portions of the Florida Panhandle coastline today. Tropical storm conditions could arrive at the Panhandle as early as Monday night into Tuesday morning. Key Message 2, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas should all monitor this system very closely now. Watches could be required for portions of those 4 states over the next day or two of forecast. That means 4 states have less than 48 hours before the first official watches may officially drop. Key Message 3, flash flooding will be possible through Thursday along the eastern and central Gulf Coast. That flood threat covers western Florida through southern Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana through Thursday. 5 days of persistent flash flooding is what stalled tropical systems historically do to Gulf communities. Share this video with anyone you know from Pensacola to Houston before they go to sleep tonight. A 24-hour warning from a friend or family member hits harder than any push alert on a phone. Subscribe and hit the bell so every 6-hour NHC advisory drops directly into your notification feed. Now walk through exactly when tropical storm force winds arrive for every major Gulf city tonight. Tropical storm force means sustained winds of 39 miles per hour or higher arriving at your location. Florida Panhandle residents have the earliest window tropical storm force winds possible, Monday, 8 a.m. Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach, watch for 39-plus miles per hour winds Monday afternoon into Monday evening local. Panama City and Apalachicola sit in the zone where Monday 8 p.m. brings the first tropical storm impacts. Gulfport and Biloxi, Mississippi catch 39-plus miles per hour winds arriving Tuesday 8 a.m. local time officially. Mobile, Alabama, your worst window is Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning with winds near 45 miles per hour. Mobile gets the Wednesday 1 p.m. peak of 60 miles per hour. the strongest reading in the entire forecast. New Orleans Metro, your wind window opens Wednesday 8 a.m. and peaks at 60 miles per hour Wednesday 1 p.m. That Wednesday 1 p.m., 60 miles per hour reading over the New Orleans Metro threatens 1.2 million people. Baton Rouge and Lafayette are inside the 60 miles per hour corridor from Wednesday 1 p.m. through Thursday morning. Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Orange, Texas catch the Thursday 8 a.m. arrival of 39+ miles per hour tropical winds. Thursday 1 p.m. at Beaumont shows 60 miles per hour winds, making that the peak impact window for Southeast Texas. Corpus Christi, Galveston, and Houston face elevated flooding risk even outside the official wind cone. Comment your Gulf Coast city so we know which wind arrival window to focus on in tomorrow's update. Rough surf and rip currents are spreading from Key West all the way north of the Alabama shoreline. Stay out of Gulf water from eastern Texas through northwestern Florida through at least Thursday morning. Storm surge of 2 to 3 feet is possible along the Florida Bend and Panhandle coastline from Tuesday. Storm surge of 1 to 2 feet is possible from the Mississippi coastline westward through Louisiana Tuesday. Never ignore storm surge. 2 feet of moving seawater can knock an adult completely off their feet. Now pivoting east because a 4-day severe weather outbreak is stacking directly on top of the tropics. SPC has 2 separate yellow risk zones today covering Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast Corridor. 4,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE is loaded east of the Appalachians through Wednesday afternoon. Monday overnight, a cold front drops a nasty storm cluster near Davenport, Iowa, into the Chicagoland area. Tuesday morning storms weaken as they push through Indianapolis, Toledo, and Dayton after 6 a.m. Heading east, then a fresh severe line fires Tuesday afternoon from Kentucky through West Virginia into Pennsylvania. Mid-Atlantic states, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey all sit in that same Tuesday severe line. Wednesday, July 22nd brings another thunderstorm wave up and down the entire 1,200-mile eastern seaboard. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New York, and Boston all need radar handy through Wednesday evening. Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, and Detroit catch Monday evening severe cells with damaging winds primary. Buffalo, Rochester, and Albany sit in the enhanced risk zone for 50 miles per hour damaging winds Tuesday afternoon. From Sunday through Thursday, the eastern U.S. goes through one of its most active storm stretches of summer. If you live anywhere between Chicago and Boston, know your safe spot before tonight's severe window opens. Which severe region concerns you most, Ohio Valley Mid-Atlantic or the Northeast Corridor this period? Now south and west because the 100-degree heat wave is a separate deadly threat stacking on top today. Southern Plains heat indices have been running at 100+ degrees from Canada all the way to Mexico. Monday afternoon, heat indices climbed to 105 degrees across Omaha, Des Moines, Kansas City, and Dallas. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, Memphis, Shreveport, and Clarksville, Tennessee all hit 105 Monday afternoon. That 105-degree heat index is officially classified as dangerous heat by the National Weather Service. Never leave children or pets inside a parked car. Interior temperatures hit 130 degrees in 15 minutes. Cooling centers are open in most major cities across Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri through Tuesday. Winds of just 5 to 10 miles per hour make the Southern Plains 105-degree heat feel even more brutal today. A second heat wave is also brewing for the last days of July, adding more dangerous heat ahead. Which heat wave city worries you most? Comment below and we will dedicate coverage to it. Heat illness kills roughly 600 Americans each year, making it deadlier than many extreme weather events. Drink water constantly in the heat zone. Never wait until you feel thirsty to hydrate yourself. Older adults and young children are the most vulnerable to heat illness during prolonged heat wave events. Check on neighbors over 65 during the afternoon peak heat hours from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. today. Euro and GFS models are now converging on a wetter solution that should raise NHC rainfall totals soon. When models agree on heavy rain plus a stalling system that is genuinely the worst case for flooding. Euro A1 ensemble continues showing 10 to 20 inches of precipitation just offshore the central Gulf Coast. GFS has been trending wetter in its last 3 runs, placing the heaviest rain over the Louisiana coastline. A stalling tropical system producing 6 to 10 inches over coastal Louisiana in 12 hours is catastrophic. Prepare for flooding regardless of whether NHC officially names this system Bertha in the next advisory. Have a 72-hour emergency kit ready if you live within 50 miles of the Gulf Coast through Friday. That kit should include 3 days of water, flashlights, a hand crank radio, and important sealed documents. Know your evacuation route before Monday morning because watches could drop before you go to bed. Voluntary evacuation orders could begin for Zone A areas across all 3 key coastal cities by Monday. Zone A residents should be prepared to leave before Monday evening if watches escalate to warnings tonight. Zone B residents should have bags packed and know where they are heading before Tuesday morning arrives. Zone C residents still need to track closely because outer band flooding reaches 100 miles inland easily. Sandbagging sites are open in Pensacola, Mobile, Biloxi, and Gulfport ahead of the Monday arrival window. Louisiana Homeland Security and FEMA are pre-staging resources at 8 coastal distribution points today. Red Cross chapters in all 5 affected states have activated pre-storm response protocols as of Sunday. Subscribe and turn on the bell so every 6-hour NHC advisory update lands directly in your feed today. Videos drop every 6 hours through Friday landfall. Subscribe now so you never miss a critical update. Which region do you want covered most? Gulf Coast track, Florida rain, or Eastern severe weather today? Comment your vote and we build tomorrow's video around the top community request from all of you. Never drive through flooded roads. 6 inches of moving water can carry most passenger vehicles away. Turn around, do not drown. That rule saves more lives than any single shelter decision today. All right, let us wrap with the most important recap from NHC Advisory 1 for this Sunday evening. Tropical Depression 2 is stationary at 0 forward speed, the Harvey 2017 warning sign. NHC Advisory 1 locks in 60 miles per hour winds by Wednesday 1 p.m. aimed at the Mobile, Alabama coast. And 5 states are officially on the NHC watch list: Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. Those 3 data points tell you everything you need about the next 5 days of Gulf weather. Share this with anyone you know along the Gulf Coast, from Pensacola all the way to Beaumont, Texas. A heads up from a friend 24 hours before watches drop hits harder than any push alert tonight. Tomorrow's morning update includes the first Hurricane Hunter recon data from tonight's investigation flight. Expect a significant track and intensity revision in Advisory 2 once that recon data processes tonight. NHC updates 4 times daily. Set those 4 advisory times as phone alarms right now. One final question. Which city do you want us to prioritize in tomorrow's morning update video today? Comment your city one last time so we can pin your exact zone in the Community tab tonight. Also tell us if you want a dedicated Harvey versus Bertha comparison video as a special deep dive. Track uncertainty is higher than average due to the sprawling weak circulation defining this system. Even a 50-mile wobble shifts the 8-inch rain band over a completely different city and community. That 50-mile wobble is the difference between 2 inches and disaster for communities like New Orleans. Repeat for emphasis: 0 forward speed plus 60 miles per hour Wednesday plus 5 official states equals act now. Harvey stalled and 60 inches fell. Bertha is stalled tonight over the exact same warm Gulf waters. Prepare now and do not wait for a name flooding comes first and the name comes second.